friends, what's good? Welcome back to Anu Talk Show. How are you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. I want to have a conversation with you today. This episode is not about funnels, it's not about adding more strategies into your business, it's not even about creating your essential offer. If you are looking for strategies to create your essential offer and to sell in any economy, make sure to watch the episodes from before where I give you literally what you need to do in order to create your essential offer. Because if you are watching this episode, if you are listening to this, you are not a beginner in your coaching business. You have signed clients before, you know how to coach, you know how to deliver the promise, and you know how to sell. And yet you are still stuck in this cycle, in this frustrating cycle, right? 1 month is a good month, you make 5K, then it's silence, and clients are coming 1 month, and then you are experiencing dry spells. So you are experiencing dry sales month, and you tell yourself, maybe I need a new strategy. Maybe it's just the algorithm, or maybe people aren't buying right now in this economy. I know all of these conversations because these are the conversations we are having inside Leverage 20. Also, the conversations I'm having on sales calls and in the DMs. And I want to offer you a new perspective, a different perspective, and which is like your income is not consistent because you are bad at business. It is inconsistent because you keep shrinking. So shrinking is not a mindset issue, it's literally a visibility wound. And the problem is not that you don't know what to do. The problem is that on some level, it doesn't feel safe enough to be seen doing it, to be seen for who you are. And until we deal with that, especially I'm talking to my woman of color coaches and experts, until we deal with that, no amount of content strategy, no amount of new marketing strategies or a launch plan will fix the inconsistency in your revenue. And I know this because I lived it. I have my own story behind it. So it means when I started my coaching business in 2018 as a fitness coach. And then I transitioned into business coaching in 2020. And the reason why I transitioned is also because of the representation. I wanted to be a good example in the industry that you can also succeed as a woman of color coach. So when I started coaching, I hustled hard. I was showing up online, I posted content, I created content, I sold my offers, and it worked. People hired me. I started to make money here and there. But then something strange happened, and the moment I started to get traction, the moment I started to see, okay, my Instagram is growing, okay, I'm getting more DM conversations, I would pull back. I would stop posting so much. I would water down my messaging. I would second guess every piece of content before I hit publish. Like every time I second guessed my content, if it is good enough, if I am saying the right things. And I told myself when I pulled back that I was resting, I was refining, because deep down I was terrified of being visible, because I started to see more people coming into my ecosystem, and I was so terrified. So I grew up in an environment where being loud, being opinionated, or being ambitious, it wasn't praised. It was actually punished. Means I was taught to be humble. No matter if the other person isn't wrong, I was taught to be humble. I was taught to keep my head down. I was told not to make people uncomfortable. And especially when like talking to elderly people, I was told not to talk back. And when I started to show up boldly online and started to grow my business online. And when I realized, okay, when people started to pay me thousands of dollars to work with me, all those old story came to the surface. Means, who do you think you are? What if they judge you? Who do you think that you have a strong opinion? You don't even have an opinion. Or what if you outgrow everyone in your surrounding and you end up with not having any friends, not having any family members? And what if success and money changes you? Those stories came over and over again. And because I didn't know how to deal with that back then when I started my coaching business, I shrank. So I would play small so that no one else felt threatened. I would censor myself so my family wouldn't think I was too much, right? I would downplay my results because I didn't want to make anyone feel bad. Like every time I did that, my visibility dropped, so did my income. So this is why I say visibility is not just it's not just a marketing skill. It is a skill. It needs strategies. But for us, women of color, coaches and experts, like if you're an industry expert, like we are conditioned to stay small. So visibility is deeply personal. It's an identity shift. It's like nervous system work. It's healing. So I want to speak directly to my women of color coaches and experts in the room because I know the surface level story you are telling yourself that isn't the real story, right? You are not stuck because you don't know how to sell. You are not stuck because your content is bad or you need to hire a team member or otherwise you will burn out. You are definitely not stuck because you are lazy or you don't have enough discipline or you need to hustle and you need to work 20 hours a day. You are literally stuck because every time you get too close to the next level, something deep in your body pulls you back and you don't know how to deal with that. And this is happening to you right now. So tell me if this sounds familiar with you. You get a burst of momentum, right? You feel like, oh my God, I closed a few clients, I have wins. And instead of building on this momentum, you disappear. You write a powerful post and one that speaks to your real truth, but then you delete it because it feels too much. Does this sound familiar? Or maybe you plan a bold launch, but then you water it down, you're tweaking the messaging 15 times within this launch period. You don't know how to stick with that. And you are letting your mindset and you are letting your identity change this messaging for the 15th time, and you are postponing it entirely. You know you need to pitch your offer every single day. You know you need to sell without any apology that you are selling, but you keep finding reasons why now is not the right time, why now people are not investing because of the economy, because etc. Like you are finding all the reasons not to pitch, not to sell your offer every single day. And this is not a strategy problem. This is not that you don't have the best strategy, that you need to refine to a new strategy. It's literally a safety problem. Because visibility doesn't feel safe for you right now. Not because you're too weak or incapable. It's because for so many of us, women of color coaches, visibility has never felt safe. That's why we are trying to be a perfectionist. That's why we are watering down our messaging instead of saying bold stuff, because we don't want other people to come to us and judge us. So we were raised to keep our heads down, to be grateful, right? Be grateful. What, like, why are you talking back? Be grateful, but not too ambitious, right? Be polite, be agreeable, be humble, even if it means you have to shrink. So we learned to make ourselves smaller so other people could feel comfortable. We learned to mute our opinions, to keep it to ourselves so we wouldn't get labeled as difficult, or we are too loud, or we have a big mouth, right? We learned to downplay our wins so we wouldn't make anyone else feel inadequate, right? That is shrinking, my friends. And now that conditioning shows up in your business. Look at your business. You priced your offer below its value because you're scared of being too expensive. You are too afraid that you are too expensive, which is why you are giving discounts, you are lowering your prices instead of learning how to communicate the value better and get clients who don't believe that it is too expensive. And you hide your clients' results because you don't want to seem like you are bragging. Like your clients got the results and you don't want to brag about them. You don't want to brag about your process. You don't want to brag about your coaching. You don't want to brag about how amazing your clients are doing. Or you hold back on bold opinions. You know you can say bold stuff, but you don't do it because you don't want to offend anyone. You want to be friends with every single person in this earth. You don't want to say anything um, against the mainstream, because otherwise you would hurt someone and you would offend someone, and you don't want to do that. So you try to please everyone. This is people pleasing, and your people pleasing, what is happening in your real life, or what happened when you were a kid, when you were growing up, is happening in your business right now. So you please everyone, and in this process of pleasing everyone, no one is truly seeing you as the thought leader, as the authority, as someone to look up to. So what is happening is that your business stays in this in-between zone. You are too successful to quit, but never stable enough to truly feel safe to hit the 100K in 12 months and to scale it beyond. So you make enough to prove to your family that this is real, right? Maybe you also quit your 9 to 5. So right? But not enough to change your own life. So you are visible. You know you are visible. You tell yourself, I am visible, but you are visible enough to stay relevant in the industry, but not visible enough to become in demand. And the most heartbreaking part is deep down, you know you are capable of so much more. You know that. You can feel the next level calling. You are so close to break through it, but it's like there is an invisible wall you keep hitting every time you try to rise. Every time you try to expand your income, to expand your visibility, you hold back. And that invisible wall isn't a lack of skill. It's literally your survival programming that says, don't shine too bright, don't take up too much space, don't make others feel uncomfortable. You were not raised by it. So you are hearing all those stories and all those voices. And until you confront that, you keep hovering at the same revenue range. That's why you are stuck at the 5K month range. And in order for you to go to the 20K month, 30K month, you need to break it. No matter how many courses you buy, no matter how many masterminds you join, or how many strategies you try, you have to confront that invisible wall in order to break through the revenue range that you are in. So your income will never exceed your capacity to be seen. So the reason your income is inconsistent is not because you are inconsistent. It's not that you are not posting every single day. You don't have to post every single day to hit the 6-figure mark and scale your business beyond that. It's because your visibility capacity is inconsistent. So some days you feel very powerful, you feel very bold, so you post, you launch, and you sell, you do live streaming. Then on other days, You are spiraling into self-doubt because you are experiencing dry sales months. So you hide, you delay, you overthink. This is not that you are not disciplined enough. It's that your nervous system is trying to protect you from visibility. That's why you are in this on-off relationship with your visibility capacity. And think about it in this way. Visibility is not just about posting on Instagram. Visibility is not just about being on different platforms. That is not visibility. Visibility is also not about what's the latest trend when it comes to video content, when it comes to dancing on reels. Don't dance on reels if you don't want to dance. I don't want to dance on reels, that's why I'm not dancing. That is not visibility. Visibility is also not about you going after what is trending in the industry. Visibility is about being witnessed. Being witnessed in your opinion. Being witnessed in your leadership. Being witnessed in your own power. Without shrinking. Without worrying about if you are offending anyone. Without worrying about if you are talking against all the masses. A leader always talks against the masses. And that can feel terrifying. So if you grew up in a culture that taught you to make yourself smaller or to stay safe because you are an immigrant kid, and now being safe is what you need every single day, obviously talking against the masses, having your own opinions, stop people pleasing will be very tough. It will feel terrifying for you. But safety and success won't exist in the same room. You have to grow. So I want to share with you what you need to do in order to change that. So how do we expand your capacity to be seen? Not only like posting for the sake of posting, not just intellectually, but in your body, in your nervous system. How can you expand your capacity to be seen so that visibility stops feeling scary and it starts to feel safe, normal, and inevitable for you to have the success you desire inside your coaching business? The coaches who create consistent 10K, 20K, 30K months are not the ones with the best funnels. They are not the ones with the prettiest branding. They are not the ones who are having pretty websites. They are the ones who have trained their nervous system to feel safe being seen over and over and over again. And when you do that, visibility stops being a trigger and it starts being a strategy. So client stops being a fluke. You stop seeing your business as something that it is only luck or it's a fluke. It starts to become more predictable because you are working on your visibility. So the first step is awareness. You cannot change what you refuse to name it. So I want you to start noticing the exact moments when you shrink. Okay? Do you stop posting the moment engagement dips? I know a lot of my clients, they stop doing live streaming or doing the live launch because no one is actually showing up when they do the live video. But I know for a fact, all my clients, they never actually catched me doing live sessions. They watched the replay and they signed up. So for me, in the beginning, I went live and I saw no one is watching and I turned the live off. But now I keep going because I know all the sales, all the revenue is happening when the live is done. So for me, I don't care about the engagement anymore. I needed to work on my capacity to see that engagement does not equal money. So do you stop posting? Do you stop going live the moment engagement dips? As if a lower number suddenly means you are not worthy of showing up. You are posting a content, you see one like and you are thinking like, okay, I only got one like, let me put it down, like let me delete it again. because you feel like you're not worthy of showing up because it's a low number that you're seeing? Do you soften your voice in your messaging so it's palatable to everyone, even if it waters down your truth, even if you have another opinion than the mainstream? You soften your voice because you don't want to please, like you don't want to um, offend. You don't want to offend someone. That's why you soften your voice. That's why you are not saying bold stuff. You are already saying bold stuff in your private coaching, but you don't know how to use that in your marketing, because in marketing you know that you are more visible to more people. So you, in your private coaching, you are more bold. You say what is truth in order to get the results for your clients, but in your marketing you water it down because you don't want to be visible. Or do you launch once, then you get silent, and then you disappear for weeks because you feel embarrassed, or you feel like, okay, I'm not ready for the next launch? So those are the exact moments where your visibility ceiling kicks in. And the more awareness you build around those micro moments, the more power you reclaim. So what happens when you do this consistently is you will start to catch yourself in the act. Means you will notice, oh, okay, this is the part where I normally hide. This is the part when I disappear from my business and when I stop posting. And instead of letting that fear take over your business, you are now able to choose differently because you are aware of what is going on inside of you. That is how you take your power back. This is literally what you need to take your power back, not another strategy. Awareness is what you need in order to choose differently. And then the question is, how do you choose in that moment? Right? So once you are aware, the next step is to rewrite the story that's been running in the background in your business, because those thoughts that make you shrink, most of them aren't even yours. You didn't actually put those stories in your mind. They are your mom's voice telling you, don't be too ambitious, right? I know when my family members said when I started my business, don't be too ambitious, otherwise no one wants to marry you because you are too focused on your goals and how to grow your business to $1 million. I'm like, baby boo boo, what are you talking about? Or they are your culture's conditioning saying, don't outshine your siblings. Like, how many times did you hear that? Or they are your old school teacher's words saying, stay quiet, be polite, don't make people uncomfortable. So every time you believe those stories, you hand your power to the past. And friends, if these stories are coming over and over and over again, and you don't know how to break that, that is why you need to go to therapy, because that is where you need to heal those stories so that you can move forward in your business. If you see that your past is holding you back from showing up the most authentic version of you to attract the best clients to you, then you need to choose, okay, you know what, I cannot do this. I cannot scale my business to $1 million by shrinking. I need to do something. And that is when you are taking the initiative to go to therapy. So when you rewrite them, you stop dimming your brilliance. You stop dimming your light to make other people feel comfortable, right? It's not your job to let other people feel comfortable all the time around you. It's not your job. It is their own job. You stop delaying launches and having 5-figure launches because you are afraid of judgment. You stop diluting your voice, you stop watering down your messaging, and you start building thought leadership instead in your industry. That is how you are building a 6-figure business and beyond. That is how you are scaling to $1 million. So you become the woman whose words make people stop scrolling. That is how you know you are visible. Not by posting more. Just imagine you're posting more, posting more, posting more. You post like every single day for weeks. But if people are not stopping with the scroll, then it's just it's just noise. So you become the coach whose presence commands attention. You become the business owner whose authority is undeniable. And that is when consistent clients become inevitable. That is how you know your business is now predictable. Because remember this, every time you choose your current reality over your old story, you break a generational cycle. You break the cycle of listening what your mom is saying, or listening to what your past teachers told you, or your grandma told you. You choose leadership over legacy fears. You choose expansion over approval, to be approved by everyone. And that choice compounds into money, into consistent clients, and into momentum. This is how you know that you are growing your visibility. And finally, what I want to say is visibility is a muscle. And like any muscle and any muscle building, the only way it grows is through repetition under resistance. Repetition under resistance, my friends. That means post the bold opinion. Don't water down your messaging, especially when you feel like no one will agree. Go live, do the live streaming, even if no one is watching, because those people who are not watching, they will catch the replay later and might become a paying client. Pitch your offer every single day, sell it. Own it that you are a business owner and sell every single day, even if no one is saying I'm interested, because every repetition makes the next pitch feel easier. So your first rep will feel terrifying. I shit in my pants when I did my first live streaming 5 years ago. Like literally, I had sweaty palms. I was like, what am I doing? Like, do I even want to run a business where I have to go live and where I have to show my face on video? I don't want to do this. Maybe I should look into a 9-to-5 job and go back to a job. I was literally searching for a job because the first rep of me putting in the work was so terrifying. The second rep would still feel uncomfortable. Okay? But the more you do it, it finally starts to feel normal. And by the 100th of repetition of you going live, you selling every single day, you doing the skill, visibility will feel as natural as breathing, right? So means today I can go live without anything because it feels so natural. Because I have been doing live launching since 2020. I have been doing video content since 2020. So for me, it feels so normal. But I remember when I started, my whole nervous system was out of order. I was questioning my whole existence and why I am doing this right now. But when you build this muscle, this skill, when you build the skill with repetition over and over again, you stop overthinking visibility and you start embodying that coach your people needs to hear from you. You no longer rely on motivation because visibility becomes your default state. It becomes your natural state. You don't even have to think about, oh, am I even visible? It's so normal for you now. And your audience starts to expect you. They trust you. They buy from you consistently because you have built the visibility. You are seeing that visibility is a skill. And every skill needs one thing, which is repetition. And the more you do it, the better you will become. So imagine this. Instead of hoping a client signs this month, so I am not about hoping. I don't believe that business is hope. Business is skills. And your skills and the season you are in will tell you what you can expect from your business. So instead of hoping that a client will sign this month, you know clients are coming because your visibility is doing the work for you. It's consistent, it's magnetic, it's authentic. Instead of needing to, I need to get back into my momentum, instead of relying on that, you live in the momentum. You build the momentum. You don't have to wait on motivation and discipline to get into the momentum. You live in momentum. Instead of doubting yourself before every launch, before you are launching your offer and having a 5-figure launch, you show up with quiet confidence because you have built the capacity to hold the visibility without shrinking. So the moment you expand your visibility capacity, your business stops being unpredictable. So if you want your business to be predictable, you need to work on your visibility capacity. So clients stop coming in waves. They come in streams. So if you do the launch, you know you're going to actually sign the clients in the launch. Your messaging stops getting lost because it starts to be remembered because you stop watering it down. You stop shrinking. You stop being polite to everyone and people pleasing your business. And your income stops plateauing and it starts compounding. So all of that becomes possible not because you are doing more, not because you are doing a funnel in your business and running ads. It is becoming more predictable and possible because you became the identity who can be seen more. You have to seen more in order to get more leads, because business is about leads. The more leads you have, the more money you're going to make. In order to get the leads, you need to be seen more. What are you doing to be seen more? How is your safety looking like? How is your capacity looking like before you are going out there in order to be seen more? So what I want you to tell you is the version of you who hits 20K a month she's a different identity, not a different person, still you. She's not smarter, she's not more qualified, she doesn't have more certifications, she doesn't have more or bigger audience. She has this identity where she's more visible. She is willing to be seen even when it is uncomfortable. She's willing to speak even when her voice is shaking, even when her palms are sweating, even when the heart is racing before she is going live and doing the launch. She is willing to speak up. She is willing to hold space for more clients, more impact, and more eyeballs on her content, even when it feels scary. And this doesn't start with strategy only. It starts with doing the capacity work as well. So what I want you to do today is I want you to ask yourself a few questions, okay? So write these questions down. Where am I shrinking in my business? Are you shrinking in your business when it comes to not setting boundaries with your clients? Are you shrinking in your business when it comes to saying bold stuff, but you are not, and you are watering down and whitewashing your messaging? Next question is, where am I choosing comfort over visibility? Where are you choosing comfort over visibility? And where am I still dimming my life to make others comfortable? So the moment you decide that you don't want to shrink anymore, your business will stop shrinking. Period. So if this is the season where you are ready to step into that version of yourself, you want to expand, the visible, the in demand, the coach who knows how to convert clients, that is exactly what we do inside Leverage 20. Inside Leverage 20, we don't just teach you more strategy. We coach you through the identity shifts that make you visible, that makes visibility inevitable, because it is. If you want to scale your business beyond 100K, you cannot shrink. You cannot be in this little bubble. You have to create a bigger bubble. That is where visibility comes in. And we dismantle those cultural, those emotional blocks, so you can show up unapologetically. You can show up as your authentic version and get booked on repeat. So your next level is not hiding in a new strategy, it's hiding behind the visibility you are afraid of. And you need more leads. In order to get more leads, you need to work on your visibility capacity. And the moment you claim that, everything changes. So, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode helped you to see that you don't need another strategy. You need to work on your visibility. You need to work on the visibility ceiling in order to hit the next revenue goal. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. And let me know in the comments section